And Sri Lanka's economic crisis has reached a tipping point after the newly elected Prime Minister, Ranil Wickremesinghe, has announced that the country was down to its last day of petrol. The Prime Minister has warned that the months ahead are very likely to be very difficult and that there could be power cuts as long as 15 hours a day. The Lankan government also plans to sell its national airline to stem losses. Meanwhile, the situation continues to be grim on the ground. There seems to be no end to the struggles of accessing basic essentials by the residents. A change in the leadership. For more on this, my colleague Padma joins me from Colombo.
Yeah. Hi, just wanted to let you know that the vote of no confidence, which is being reported widely in India, that was not a vote of no confidence. It was watered down into a motion of displeasure against the president, Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Now, the thing is, all this has been happening in parliament, shenanigan after shenanigan, while people on the streets are suffering due to a lack of petrol. Today was the last day of petrol availability, and also there is no gas. Can you hear me?
Ahead, Padma.
PCR, can you hear me? I'm sorry, can you hear me? Back to the studio.
Right, Padma. Please go ahead. All right, that was Padma. They're reporting from Sri Lanka. Padma, if you're still connected to us, please help us understand what the situation is currently in Sri Lanka. All right, there seems to be a connection issue with that, with Padma, who was reporting from Sri Lanka. In fact, Sri Lanka has been reeling under a severe crunch of medicines and surgical equipments as well. Now, people have to stand in long queues for fuel, and there's a scarcity of essentials like milk and gas, among other things. And new Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe wants to privatize Sri Lankan airlines. He's in fact said that there's a proposal for privatization amidst the financial crisis. Remember, the island nation is now in a dire situation, and the economic crisis has in fact reached a tipping point. And Padma is joining us live on the broadcast for more on this. Padma, if you could help us, give us a situation of, give us a sense of what is really transpiring on the ground as we speak.
Yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. It has reached tipping point. There was petrol only for one more day. That was today. There is no petrol left. There have been long, 2-kilometer long queues at every petrol pump we saw. And we're speaking about the heart of Colombo, which is relatively well-to-do. So you can imagine what it's like on the outskirts. There is no gas. We were standing in gas lines today. There are, very old people, 75-year-old people who've been waiting since 5 o'clock in the morning. The situation on the ground is very dire. In the meantime, instead of getting on with it, the impression we are getting from reports on Parliament is that a vote of no, the opposition wanted to table a watered down vote of no confidence, which they had watered down into a motion of displeasure, which means that the president would not lose his job, but the vote of displeasure would at least show how many parliamentarians are in his favor and how many are not. Now, the ruling party and the Prime Minister, Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe, turned down that, or they overturned that motion of displeasure, and in such a way, by a majority vote, that it is likely to, not come up at all in Parliament. So for this reason, people are reporting that President Gotabaya has won the no confidence vote. Mirror now must clarify that. Indeed, he seems to have the upper hand now, but this is a motion of displeasure. It's not a no confidence vote any longer. And it does not mean that the president will lose his job. Either ways, I think the important thing for us to note is that Parliament today was the first day of its reconvening, and they've spent much of the day arguing over which motion to be tabled and which motion to be overturned and how many people overturned it and who has what popularity. This is, of course, quite contrary to the urgency we are seeing on the streets. This country and the people of this country need action, and they need action now. No more parliamentary debates.
Right, Padma, a dire situation there unfolding in Sri Lanka. Thank you for bringing us all those updates.